Hey, welcome back to the channel. I know last time we talked about how to make your first dates less awkward, but let's talk about what actually makes a bad first date and more importantly, what makes a good one. So my first note is to the gentleman. Gentlemen, we don't think about the same thing women do. When we go on a date, we're thinking about how great it's gonna go, how much fun we're gonna have, but you have to think about it like a woman does. The number one concern for her when she goes on a first date with someone, safety. She has no idea whether or not she's going to be safe, and it's important that we take every step to make her feel that way. So with that in mind, I don't care how romantic you think it's going to be, there is never a good reason to take a girl on a first date somewhere secluded or somewhere where there's not a lot of people. You need people around so she feels comfortable. If she doesn't feel comfortable, there's absolutely no way you're going to have a good date. Now that we got the safety briefing out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about some places that would be bad for a first date. Number one, a loud bar or club. Guys, this is the first time you're meeting with this lady. You're getting to introduce yourself to her. You don't want your only communication to her be the way you move your hips or bob your head to the music. It's about talking and communicating to see if you feel chemistry. So going to a place where the music's cranked up real loud or to a club where everybody's just dancing around to the beat is not gonna do anything for you to be able to learn about her or her to be able to learn about you. Now with that in mind, the exact opposite is terrible as well. You know, you're going to a place like a movie theater. Movie theater is an absolutely awful spot for a first date. What do you do in a movie theater? You shut the hell up, or at least you get kicked out if you start talking. So again, that's not a place where you're gonna learn anything. Are you gonna learn anything about your date watching them stare at a movie to see what kind of movie they're into? No, it's just gonna result in you awkwardly sitting there wondering if she's having a good time. Same thing for you ladies, you're just gonna wonder if we're having a good time. It's just gonna be awkward silence for about 2 to 3 hours. And the last bad place to go for a date, big fancy restaurants. Now I know the ladies are gonna lose their mind over this, but gentlemen, you can't be taking ladies to a big fancy restaurant for your first date. It's gonna encourage awkward moments because you're gonna be sitting there staring at each other with not much to say. There's nothing wrong with taking small steps in a date, eating, good local food, and not worrying about going to some fancy place where you're all looking just your absolute Sunday best. When you're picking somewhere to eat, what you need to do is pick somewhere that has something to do with the local culture. Nobody wants to go to a fast food chain that they can get in any city, anywhere in the world. They want to experience something locally, something that's popular locally. Like I live in Tampa. Going somewhere with Cuban sandwiches, always a good choice because that's a big part of our culture here. Or finding other Cuban food, huge part of our culture here. The big thing is that what you're doing is you're sharing your knowledge and your experience of the city you live in with another person, giving you an opportunity to have something to talk about. And having something to talk about is the key. You need to go places that encourage conversation, not kill it. If you go somewhere boring, your conversation is gonna be boring. It's just a result of it. You're gonna act the mood that you're living in, right? So you wanna go places that encourage you to talk about what's going on around you. It helps a lot if you know a lot about your city because then you can go places and you can talk about what you know. And ladies, let me let you know, when it comes to guys, one thing we love to do when we like someone is show off. And just like I said in the prior video, the worse you are at conversation, the better sites you need to go see because you're not going to carry it with your conversation. So you need to make sure that if you don't know what to say, you at least got something pretty to look at and something nice to point at. Give yourself every advantage. This is a first date. This is not a commitment to the rest of your life. There's nothing wrong with finding things to put you in an advantage. All right, so here's my top 3 places for the best first dates. Number 1, a place you can get food standing up, like a food truck rally or a food truck, something that's parked around a bunch of other stuff to do. This way, the concentration isn't on eating the food. It's just something else you're doing as you're encouraging conversation. Number 2, a river walk of some sort or by the water, somewhere you can walk along and experience the culture of the place around you. I know San Antonio's got a great one. We got a great one here in Tampa, where as you walk, you can actually have drinks along the way at different little bars that are there. The same can be applied to kind of like a downtown bar scene if you don't have a river walk, where you're walking around and you're not staying in one place and making things weird. You're just experiencing the town together, spurring that conversation. Now, if you must sit down and you're in a city that's cold, what I recommend is a comedy show. Comedy shows have all the elements that make a good date. It's got humor that you don't have to provide. God forbid you be funny. It's got other people, so there's comfort in where they are. And 3, it's got alcohol. Nobody's gonna complain about a place that is able to serve them a little bit of alcohol to help them enjoy their night. And I guarantee you, a date has never been made worse with the application of alcohol. The big thing is understanding the common elements that you're seeing here. What are the common elements in a good date? Chances for humor, people being around, and good conversation starters. That's what makes a good first date. What makes a bad first date? You having to come up with everything yourself. You having to provide all the humor yourself, and lack of other people. You don't want it to be intimate yet. Let it become intimate over time. I hope you put this information to use and use it to have better first dates. Like I said, the goal always is to make the first date you're about to go on your last first date.